Welcome to the Sage Thought Leadership Podcast, transforming the way people think and work so their organizations can thrive. Well, hi, everyone, and welcome to our podcast. I'm Ed Kless, and with me today is Adam Goldschmiedt. Adam is the practice director at Pixafy. Adam has over 16 years of experience with web and e-commerce space, working with hundreds of clients across dozens of verticals and industries, ranging from startups to large, widely known national and international brands. In his current role, Adam manages Pixafy, a net-at-work company who are e-commerce and integration experts focused on B2B and B2C e-commerce platforms and the critical ERP and other back-office systems which drive them. Welcome to the Sage Advice Podcast, Adam.
Thank you, Ed. Thanks for the intro. I appreciate it. It's a little bit of a mouthful, but hopefully we'll make that a little clearer to everybody as we talk through this.
I'm sure we will. Well, Adam, first question, why do you do what you do?
So I've been in e-commerce for a really long time. And when I joined Pixafy back in 2017, we're part of the net-at-work companies. Net-at-work is one of the big players in the ERP space. And I've always done integrations with ERP systems back in my days at Blue Switch. Those are always the best projects for me. I always enjoyed that challenge of understanding how a business functions on the back end and then trying to keep that be the source of truth that manages the front end that the customer interacts with. So syncing inventory and pricing and order information, those are always the parts of my projects that I enjoyed the most, those discovery sessions. So I joined Pixafy, I joined net-at-work because of that experience with ERP and because we had a real opportunity to make an impact with what we can bring to the market in terms of ERP integrations into the e-commerce world and really make our mark there.
So tell me how you see ERP commerce as not just a product, you say, but it's a way of life.
Right. So we've launched erpCommerce on the Sage Marketplace in November, just recently, actually. And erpCommerce is a solution and it is a product, but it's also a philosophy. The philosophy is that the ERP should be the source of truth that runs the business, whether it be a Sage ERP, NetSuite, SAP, you name it. There is so much invested, these companies, especially when you look at the mid-enterprise market, that they invest into the ERP and the business workflows that are operated through the ERP and how that controls really every avenue of their business. We want that to control the online business the same way. So we want to be able to integrate platforms that are best in market, best in breed, that give customers the ability to do things that they need to do on their own, the self-service element of that, where they have rich, robust features and functionality that can support the business. But from a data management perspective, they're flexible enough that they can integrate with best-in-class ERP platforms. So we talk about product data, inventories, customer information, shipping, tracking, invoices, you name it. We always want that to be driven by the ERP and pull all that data from the ERP. So we've created this solution, erpCommerce, but we've also done erpCommerce implementations that are more custom one-off types of integrations, where it's not necessarily a standardized solution that we offer with the subscription model, but it helps those customers achieve the same business goals. That same impact of saving, tons of manual data entry hours potentially, and really reducing headcount and saving costs and making their online business run more efficient.
And I think how that could be challenging because in a way, ERP is meant to be the back office piece, and the e-commerce is the front side. And the challenge, of course, is that while ERPs are great, they're not exactly customer friendly. It doesn't do things the way the customer wants to experience things. So what you're trying to do really is put this layer on in front that says, okay, we want you to experience the business the way you as a customer want to experience, not how our back-end accounting system needs to experience it. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, that's exactly the case. So when we look at the solution erpCommerce, what it is, it's a solution that allows companies to go live fast on best-in-class platforms. We use Magento as our front end / back end for the web. That's a market-leading, Gartner Magic Quadrant leading e-commerce platform that has rich and robust B2B functionality. 4 years running, well established in the market. We use Delboomi as the middleware, another community-based platform, one of the market-leading integration platforms as a service. So we're able to bring these together so that we can launch these experiences live, but because of the rich and robust feature sets that these platforms bring to the table, they allow companies to flex and scale their business now for the next 5 to 10 years. We call this a forever platform. Your business is going to change. Your ERP might change. But the solutions that we're using, Magento, Boomi, are able to integrate with any system you need. The other thing that it affords is the ability to flex those integrations into other platforms. So let's say you're a heavily CRM dependent organization too. We can use this same tool to integrate CRM with your ERP and your e-commerce platform and create complex workflows with that. But we want to use standard functionality as much as possible. And that's why we partner and we select the platforms that we do, because we want to give our customers and their customers as many options as possible to manage that site, manage that experience, and adapt to the way that their customers interact with them.
And it's really interesting. I'm just thinking about my days long time ago when I first interacted with people, the early e-commerce solutions, and I will always remember one customer telling me, "Well, I just want my site to work like Amazon." And I thought, well, no problem. It'll be $5.2 billion.
Exactly. Yeah. I used to get that, but back when I was a little bit more focused on design, we would always ask, okay, so what are aspirational sites? Like, what sites do you like? And everybody across the board says Apple. Like, okay, yeah, I can build you the Apple website, and it looks really simple and clean because it's white background and heavy imagery, but there's a lot more going on there that you maybe don't understand. So, but yeah, everybody wants to be Amazon. I'm sorry if I cut you off while you were asking a question.
No, that's exactly right. And but you bring up an interesting point with regard to Apple too. And one of the things I think that the contrast I think between Apple and Amazon is intriguing in that Amazon has everything, but Apple does have that simplicity, and I think that they have really taken that to an expert level. What are your thoughts on that as you're helping people design a system around that? It really is dependent on what they want or what their customers want to experience, either the everythingness or the simplicity piece. Do you have to make trade-offs between those two things, or is there a way to in many cases, integrate those two things together?
It's a good question. It's a little bit tricky to answer. There's definitely ways to integrate it. Every business has their own ins and outs. Every brand has their own ins and outs. What I think we've started to see a lot over the last 5 years, especially, but really since the iPhone came out, is a move towards mobile, right? So that mobile site experience is way more important to customers than the desktop experience, and I think B2B is starting to catch up with that. We really focus on the B2B side. B2C is still very much about UI UX, but B2B is really starting to catch up, and everything is geared towards that mobile device. Because really think about it, when you're sitting in your house and you need to do something, you're not walking over to your computer, you're doing it from your phone right on your couch. So one of the things that's really started to happen as a result of that is that companies are leveraging themes. They're using theme-based designs, which is a pre-built design template customized for the platform that you're using, but it gives you out-of-the-box options to update the logo, the color scheme, the fonts, and keep that on brand. But then it also gives you the flexibility to build in different types of widgets, images, videos, quotes, related items, recommended products on the site. And really what that allows you to do is allow your imagery to do the talking to the customer. So you can really treat these pages as a blank canvas. When somebody's on their phone, they expect something to be in a certain place. They expect that hamburger menu button where they can click it and then they can access everything. They expect the add to cart button to be easy to find on a product detail page. And they expect to be able to get through checkout in 2 to 3 steps max, right? Where it's a pretty seamless process. Web customers have become more and more savvy over the years. So when you think about all the standards and the things that people are expecting to see, it does limit the creativity that you have in terms of what you can do. So it's really a lot about the assets and the images and the landing pages and how you tell that story. So by using Magento, which has rich content management capabilities, as well as using that marketplace of themes that you have at your disposal, where you can have thousands of themes at your fingertips with dozens of configurations each, where you can really create that custom experience, you're able to kind of get the best of both worlds, where you have that standardized template, but areas and elements of that template where you have creative liberty to do what you want.
And Adam, we have an exit question that we ask all of our guests, and that is, who is a hero of yours and why are they a hero?
So this is actually a pretty easy question for me to answer because today is the 11-year anniversary of his passing. But that would be my grandfather, Martin Goldschmidt. He passed away in 2009 at the age of 92. He was born in Germany. His family had a very successful coat company in Berlin. We actually have pictures of Berlin Square with the Goldschmidt mantle and costume sign there. surrounded by Nazi swastikas. And they were fortunate enough to get out before the Holocaust. They came to America. My grandfather was one of the Ritchie Boys, which is a group of Jews from Europe that escaped Hitler that came to the US, that they recruited into the army because of their knowledge of German culture and their ability to speak the language. And they developed them into soldiers. There's actually a book about it called Sons and Soldiers. My grandfather's name is listed in the back. There were hundreds of them. And he was in Germany. He fought for the US Army in Germany against the Nazis in his homeland. He did so much for this country. He was shot. He won a Purple Heart. He was shot while he was helping one of his fallen comrades. He was awarded a Bronze Star for his efforts. He walked with a limp for the rest of his life, walked around with shrapnel in his ankle for the rest of his life, and never once complained about it. He considered it a great honor to serve this country and serve this community really until the day he died. I remember him when he was in his late 80s, when I got married, coming into my apartment to install phone jacks on the floor, like getting down on his hands and knees as like a high, 87, 88-year-old man, because he just wanted to help everybody he came in contact with. And, that just the quality of an individual that he was, that plus the fact that he's an actual hero. And, he had a hero's cemetery, a funeral, and, they played taps. And that was just an emotional, moving moment to realize the lasting contributions that he's made to this country. It's an easy question to answer for me, but definitely my grandfather.
And lastly, Adam, how can somebody contact you?
Smoke signals? No, I'm just kidding. So email is always great. Adam@pixafy.com. That's ADAM@PIXAFY.com. We leave my last name out because it's way too hard to spell. My phone number, 646-214-7142. That routes to my mobile these days because we're all remote. So I'm always available by phone. I really do like random calls. If it's a spam call, I'll hang up. If it's somebody who's there to talk to me, then great. And you can go to us on all of our social channels at Pixafy on Twitter, LinkedIn, Pixafy.com, Facebook. We're everywhere. We've actually got some webinars that we've just put out with Magento that have gone live. So if you check out our LinkedIn feed, you can hear a lot more about erpCommerce and Magento and a lot of the solutions that we use to bring value to our customers.
All right, Adam Goldschmiedt, Practice Director at Pixafy. Thanks so much for being a guest on the Sage Advice podcast.
Thanks for having me, Ed. Have a great day, great weekend.
Review and subscribe by searching your podcast player of choice for Sage Thought Leadership Podcast.